The UK Foreign Secretary has branded as ridiculous a UN panel's ruling that Julian Assange be allowed to go free, as the Wikileaks founder demanded the decision be respected. Mr Assange, who faces extradition to Sweden over a rape claim, which he denies, claimed asylum in London's Ecuadorean embassy in 2012. The panel said he had been arbitrarily detained and should get compensation. Philip Hammond rejected the decision, accusing Mr Assange of evading justice. Mr Assange hailed it a significant victory and called the decision binding, but the UK government said the report changes nothing. The 44-year-old Australian was originally arrested in London in 2010 under a European Arrest Warrant issued by Sweden over rape and sexual assault allegations. 2 years later, while on bail, he claimed asylum inside the Ecuadorian embassy in Knightsbridge. Swedish prosecutors dropped an investigation into 2 sex assault claims against Mr Assange last year after running out of time to question him. However, he still faces the more serious accusation of rape. Mr Assange fears extradition to Sweden will lead to further extradition to the United States for questioning over the activities of Wikileaks, the website which has published secret documents and videos, including almost 400,000 secret US military logs. Historical importance. Reading a statement via a video link from the embassy, Mr Assange said the opinion of the panel was vindication, adding, "The lawfulness of my detention is now a matter of settled law." He later addressed a crowd from a balcony at the Ecuadorian embassy, hailing the decision a victory of historical importance. However, Mr Hammond said Mr Assange was a fugitive from justice, adding that he can come out any time he chooses but will still have to face justice in Sweden. Anders Ronquist, legal chief at Sweden's foreign ministry, said Mr Assange is not being deprived of his liberty there due to any decision or action taken by the Swedish authorities. Elizabeth Massey Fritz, lawyer for the alleged rape victim, said the UN panel's decision was insulting and offensive to her client and was against all vulnerable victims' human rights. Mr Assange said the comments by Mr Hammond were beneath the minister's stature and insulting to the UN, while Ecuador's foreign minister criticized the UK for rejecting the panel's decision. Ricardo Patino said the UK had violated important articles of the Universal Human Rights Convention and of the International Treaty on Political and Civil Rights. But the whistleblower Edward Snowden, who is accused of espionage in the US and has received legal support from Wikileaks, tweeted that the UK and Sweden's response to the panel's decision writes a pass for every dictatorship to reject UN rulings. In September 2014, Mr Assange complained to the UN that he was being arbitrarily detained as he could not leave without being arrested. The complaint against the UK and Sweden claimed Mr Assange had been deprived of his liberty for an unacceptable length of time. The UN's Working Group on Arbitrary Detention insisted Mr Assange's detention should be brought to an end, that his physical integrity and freedom of movement be respected. The WikiLeaks founder had been subjected to different forms of deprivation of liberty, it said, initially while he was held in isolation at London's Wandsworth prison for 10 days in 2010. The deprivation had been continuous since he was initially arrested in the UK on December 7, 2010. Mr Assange should be afforded the right to compensation, it added. 3 members of the 5-person panel found in Mr Assange's favour, while one rejected his claim and another did not take part in the investigation. The UK's permanent representative to the UN Julian Braithwaite has written to the panel expressing the government's surprise and disappointment with the outcome. The UN's Working Group on Arbitrary Detention is made up of 5 legal experts from around the world. Established in 1991, it has made hundreds of rulings on whether imprisonment or detention is lawful. High-profile complainants include Washington Post journalist Jason Rezaian, who was released in Iran last month. It also offered an opinion on former pro-democracy President Mohamed Nasheed, released in the Maldives last year, and Myanmar party leader, Aung San Suu Kyi.